Hello everybody and welcome to another Transformers third party review. In this video, thanks to the guys at Robot Kingdom, we're taking a look at the latest offering from TFC as part of their Trinity Force line. This is TF-02 Red Knight, aka their interpretation of Braver from Transformers Victory. Taking a quick look around the box, I love this kind of retro vintage feel that they've gone for. With the squared off sections, we have him in his bot mode and in his vehicle mode with all of the accessories. And in the front window there we have the alternative head and the Brainmaster. Right, here we have him out of his packaging. Now he's meant to be a Ferrari F40, I believe. That's what the original was based on. I think they've kept it still as a Ferrari. It looks very Ferrari-ish. Is this the one that they did a Toyota Celica shell for? You could kind of reshell it to look like a Ferrari. I'm not entirely sure, but yes, this definitely looks very Ferrari-esque. Now, of course, I didn't get the idea behind this. You have to attach all of the kind of wing mirrors and the wiper blade. We had to do that with their Raging Bull as well. I'm not a fan of that because I am terrible with little tiny things and I generally tend to lose them. Now we do get the replacement lights, which we can pop these panels here off and we can plug these lamps in. We get the brackets, we get two of these guns, we get his blade, which if we bring in Raging Bull's blade, they are very similar indeed. There's a shocker. As to the guns, they're the same as well. And we get the alternative head sculpt, and then we get the itty bitty tiny Brainmaster. Lift his arms up. Lift his arms up. I don't know if you can see the detailing on there, but it's actually pretty darn good, especially for a figure of this size. And we can just bend his legs down and we are going to have him drive. I think if we open up this windshield, we should lift up from the front of the bonnet. We have this peg on the side here where we can slide his legs over, and that's him sitting in the car. Now while we've got this windshield up, I'm going to try and install the wiper blade. I would much rather these come pre-installed because it's a lot less for me to break. Has that gone through? I think we are in. You see we've got space on the side here for the mirrors. They just slide in like so. They go in a lot easier than what that wiper blade did. It's a lovely tight fit there, perfectly shaped and very easy to lose. Oh, it's all going to end in tears. And let's just tab all this back off, and there we have him ready to go. Here we have him with his comrade in arms, and no, I haven't installed the side mirrors on the Lamborghini. I just worry that I'm going to lose them, so they've stayed in Raging Bull's box. But yes, these do look very nice together. I'm not entirely sure about the scale. I thought the Ferrari would have been a little bit bigger. I know the Lamborghini has a wide wheelbase, but I honestly thought that the Ferrari was slightly larger than how it's come out. But at the same time, if we bring in somebody like MP10U, then they definitely don't look that bad. I do like the fact that these pieces come pre-installed on this. There's no lights to have to try and tab in anywhere either. It doesn't really want to nip in as tightly and hold together quite as tightly as Raging Bull does. There's a very small gap in the back here. I may have transformed something a little bit wrong on the inside, so we'll take a look. But love this rear window section as well, with the kind of smoked glass. Nice decor on there as well, although to get it as accurate as we can, I will be needing something like Toy Hack's repro labels. We've got these lights already embedded in the rear, so all in all it's a very nice vehicle mode. Now rolling wise, it doesn't roll as well as I would really like. The clearance, just getting these pieces tabbed in on these joints and making sure everything is down. You'd have to tweak it to get it to roll. To be honest with you, I've got this just to form Road Caesar. I don't intend to display any of these in their vehicle modes, but you know, we're paying a fair bit for these, so we kind of want them to work in all three modes. And I've had this figure for about a week now, and these keep falling off. I highly recommend that if you place them in, then to glue them into place, or just forget about the wing mirrors or side view mirrors, because they really don't want to stay in there. I do love the Ferrari wheels. We do have rubber tyres. I've got some nice air intakes on there on the side. But yes, all in all, a good looking alt mode, if not overly functional. Right, so let's get him transformed up into his robot mode and see how good that is. Your first port of action is to bend that bonnet section up. Now you're going to want to lift the windscreen again, like we've done several times thus far. I'm going to get your Brainmaster out. Come to the underside. These pieces are going to flip over. The transformation is more or less identical to Raging Bull. It's more or less a reshell. We want to pull these pieces up just to get clearance to these rear pieces, which you're going to need to pull downwards like so. These rear legs are going to split. And this whole rear piece here is going to come up and over, and that's going to fold all the way down and outwards. Oh, I love the sound of those ratchet joints. Lift these spoiler sections up to the middle, which then allows us to bring this leg piece down, and that's going to tab in. Spread the legs and then pull this spoiler piece back over, and we're going to tab in here again, but now we're also going to tab into this slot here, so it basically tabs in at 2 points, securing into place nice and firmly like so. Come to the inside of the legs. You want to rotate this ball socket, spin this 180 degrees so it's all the way over here. We can flatten that back off. You then want to spin this piece outwards so it's at the end of this tab like this. You want to pull out and fully extend the toes, and then make sure that this piece here is flipped out and fully extended. Right, now we've got a couple of hinges in here. What you need to do, you need to make sure that this one is rotated so it faces upwards, so rotate that one around like this. This one here needs to rotate so it's facing downwards like this. Basically what we're going to do, we're going to collapse this piece of the leg, and that's going to go into this gap, so we just make sure that this hinge is lifted up, and then we can work this in. That's going to locate on here. This heel spur is going to come down, it's going to rotate around and then flip, and that's going to be the heel. So you should have something that looks like this on the inside. We can now push these pieces together again, and this is going to tab in here like so, and that is the legs done. We should have something that looks like this. Come to the front of the vehicle. These pieces here are going to come outwards nicely there, and come to the underside. This is going to fold inwards. Bring these pieces down, and you want to rotate the hinges. TFC do like their hinges, don't they? Make sure that this wheel is rotated upwards. That gives us more than enough room to maneuver now, and then just make sure we work it under this rear windscreen piece, which is on hinge. We can just bring that back up. We could then bring the shoulders down like so, extend these arms, pull back the front of the bonnet or the hood and pull out the hands, then close that back off, bring this down, and that is his arms. Make sure that these rear backpack pieces are tabbed in to the groove where we sat our Brainmaster. Getting into this chest cavity the first couple of times is super fun. It is a nightmare. So let's bring this all the way down, bring in our Brainmaster, have his back facing towards us. As you can see, there's this grooved out section in there for his legs to slide into. Bring the helmet over and then push that in. It should tab in to place. Now, of course, if you don't like the Brainmaster gimmick, then you don't have to have it. Basically, once we have the Brainmaster gimmick engaged, we don't have any articulation on that head. Now, that's why we get the alternative head. You can basically pop this off the ball joints, take the Brainmaster out, pop this back on, then we've got a full range of motion on his head. The shoulders can come left and right on the butterfly joint, come out to the side on a soft ratchet, forwards and backwards on this hidden joint, which is really nice. Again, very nice ratchet. Double jointed bend on the elbow, and unfortunately we only have a rotation on the wrist. All the fingers are fixed. The waist can rotate quite nicely, left and right, no abdominal crunch there. Forward on a very nice ratchet, back on the same ratchet, out to the side on a very strong ratchet, bend on the knee, hindered somewhat by these back panels, but you can kind of work it down so you get nearly a 90-degree bend. And then the feet are made up of these two-part systems. The toes can go forwards and backwards, left and right, and pivot, as too can that heel spur. So although he's not the most dynamic of figures, with those nice stiff ratchets in tow, he can pull off some very stable, almost energetic poses. Now, scale-wise, I think he scales pretty well. He's about the same height as Saber, carrying a similar aesthetic. It's definitely going to work. I cannot wait to complete another member of Transformers Victory. For those of you concerned with height, he stands approximately 6.5 inches tall. That's about 17 centimeters, and weighs a more than adequate 170 grams. That's 5.99 ounces. Let's just take a quick look at some of that detailing. They've done a pretty good job. I'm not a fan of the face sculpts on this, or Raging Bull really, but having seen the pictures of what Road Caesar looks like, I'll definitely buy it. Lovely use of paint there. Now, the paint itself is good, but the plastic is not without its flaws. It's a very solid piece. TFC have definitely upped their game, pretty much now on par with the competition likes of Unique Toys, etc. But if we just open up this piece here, I don't know if you'll be able to see. You see here, this is kind of like the glue residue from where they've glued those rear lights on. This side is absolutely fine, but this one has a little bit more residue. I mean, I could probably get that off just by giving it a little scrape, but yeah, that's how it's come. Unfortunately, that's how it arrived. I'll just pop that back in and tab this back into place. There we go. So yes, he is a very good looking figure. The backpack is acceptable in my opinion. He does what he needs to do. Arms are nicely filled out. Love how we cover off all of these leg sections. All in all, I think I actually prefer him to Raging Bull. And here we have him with his sword. I love these swords. They're absolutely awesome. But anyway, let's get him sorted for combined mode. Basically, with swords, they're nice and easy. You just want to untab this piece here, work this piece away from the blue section. There's a tab just there. It's a very stiff tab. You want to bring that all the way down, and you get the idea. These are just going to come in, and they are now going to tab together at 2 separate points. So it's starting to get there. Right, now let's get him transformed up into his limb mode. First port of action, you want to slide these arm pieces up, place the hands back in, slide those back down, and then this is on a double hinge. You want to slide that hinge back upwards. Remove your Brainmaster and plug this piece back up. Once you bring the arm up and forwards, and then bring this joint up and over to the front, and you've got this tab here that's going to tab in on the chest. Tab the front of these hood sections together, and then bring whichever head you have, bring that up, over and down. Come to his backpack. You want to maneuver this down just so we can bring this up and out, and this is going to come all the way around. You want to flip this piece out, rotate the wheel, and then this is going to come in and tab into the side, and then tab together at the front like this. I come to the legs. You want to keep this piece as it is, but this is all going to change up. So first port of action, you want to lift this one back upwards, just open that up and extend it outwards, and bring these pieces up and around again, and basically we're going to put them back to how they were. Fold the toe lip over and compress it, and then you want to compress the toes so they fold up and in on themselves. Right, and you want to make sure you have the inner leg like this. You've got this hinge going outwards and this one facing upwards. We can then thread this over with the waist slightly turned, which allows us to get enough room to bring this through. And then with a little rotation there, we can collapse it down. This is going to just sit upright, and that leg is going to just come in and cover off the inner leg. Like most combiners, the adapter just slides in and stays there. We just bring the other section in and we tab those both in nice and firmly. Rotate the waist until it lines up with these side tabs. You can then flick that up and that's going to tab in. We can then open up this tab piece, bring this up and over, and they're just going to tab in together there, like so. And then you want to just collapse the windscreen back on itself so it just sits in there like so. This piece here just comes up, it's going to go all the way up, and that should he says it's meant to clip onto the front of this piece, but it's not going to, is it? That'll be too easy. There we go, that's tabbed in. And this piece here attaches to the base of the foot, which has a swivel and a rocker, and then these pieces just come on this way round and this way round, and they kind of form part of the toe. But yes, there we go. There's his very compact, very sleek looking leg mode. I think I've done it correctly. I have no idea where the toes are meant to go. It doesn't really state what we do with those. There may be some room to tuck those inside those legs, but it did seem quite compact. This is a fairly substantial lump though, and I am genuinely looking forward to completing this guy. Just to give you an idea of scale, it's not an exact science, but it's not far off. We're going to have like a kneecap piece on top of there as well, and then it's going to be around the same sort of size as Star Saber, which in my opinion is spot on, and the combined form that they've teased does look exceptionally good. I honestly cannot wait to finish this guy off. Of course, we can then finish off his weapons, and yeah, genuinely very excited. Thanks again to Robot Kingdom for making this review possible and getting this out to me slightly ahead of schedule. Hope you found the video useful. If you have, feel free to give it a big thumbs up, share, and of course subscribe. And of course make sure you check out my knockoff channel, which I've linked using the information button and of course just on this window. Until next time, from myself and the Red Knight, aka Braver, thanks for watching.